Friends, with joyful hearts, in this extraordinary creation, let us worship God. Hear words which come to us from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, for I am gentle and lowly in heart. And in me, your souls will find rest. Let us pray. Gracious and everlasting God, sometimes we are blown away by the blessings you bestow upon us. An extraordinary creation, the joy that comes in generations and families gathering together, the opportunity to see friends and colleagues and neighbors, and for 50 minutes or so simply be still and breathe deeply the Spirit in the midst of us. Lord, bless us with open hearts and minds. Help us to sense the Spirit in the midst of us. Amen.
Sister's husband's brother, working in the gold mine, full-time filling in for sunshine, filing into tight lines of ordinary beehives. The door screams, I hate you, hanging around my blue jeans. Why is there no breeze, no currency of leaves, no current through the water wide, no feelings I can't see. I trust no emotion, I believe in locomotion. Now turn to rust as we've discussed, though I must have let you down too many times. In the dirt, in the dust. Hemmed into homes, trying to be thankful. Our stories fit into phones, and our voices lift so easily. A gift given accidentally, when we're not sure we're not alone.
If you are new, welcome. If you are not new, welcome. And because there's a church picnic next Sunday, that's going to change things up a little bit schedule-wise. There's going to be one worship hour, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, picnic to follow. Don't forget, Nick and Allie, thank you so much. We should probably thank Tom in advance for his music as well. Next week, Tom will be preaching, and Suede is the music next week. And Net Gain 2017, you might come take a look at this sheet. More than a basketball game, state AA champions Orr versus Lake Forest in a benefit game. Should be fantastic. If you want to know more about that, you can talk to myself or Tom. That's going to be really incredible next Saturday. And I just want to give a welcome back to the work trip 2017. We had a fantastic trip.
All right, this is a song called New Old Spice. I wrote it, I think, about 15 years ago, and I've been singing it ever since. And it is a true story. My wife Jean here? No, not yet. Next service. Okay, this is I'm not sure you want a mic to you, Billy. True story called New Old Spice. When I was a little guy, just old enough to stand, I wanted to be just like my daddy, when to be a man. He always had a smile and a sparkle in his eye, plain for all to see, and a contagious kind of enthusiasm that inspired my friends and me. So when Father's Day came, it was a special day, time to be extra nice, to tell my daddy I really loved him, give him some New Old Spice. And every year he'd say, what a surprise, how could you have known? Last year's bottle is just about empty, where could it all have gone? Where the years went by and I became a teen, I went off to high school. My friends would complain about their old man, but my dad kept being cool. Oh, sometimes he would cheer too loud when rooting from the stands. But even as a teen, I wanted to be like my dad when I grew to be a man. Then in May back of 71, the world crashed in on me. My dad suddenly went to a better place, despite my frantic pleas. I cried, out of God, what have you done? I never felt so bad. I couldn't imagine continuing to live without my dear old dad. But every June came Father's Day, I never knew what to do. So I'd say a simple prayer to him, I still want to be like you. As the years went by, it started to seem I'd never get to be a dad, which I rationalized and accepted. Deep down it made me sad, 'cause there'd be no New Old Spice for me, and I thought that it'd be okay. I devoted my life to different things until one special day. The doctor handed me a package, a special delivery. You got yourself a little boy, congratulations, you're daddy. So then I had a conversation with my wife Jean, all true. Can we name him after my father, if it's all the same? She said, I know you love your father, but Clarence won't be our baby's name. So we settled on Tommy Jr., 'cause not much goes with Dickelman. I'm 20 years older than my dad ever got, but I still wanna be like him. So bring on that new old spice, I'll slap on all I can. Maybe Tommy will be like my dad when he grows to be a man. When he grows to be a man. When he grows to be a man.
It's not time to make a change. Just relax, take it easy. You're still young, that's your fault. There's so much you have to know. Find a girl, settle down. If you want, you can marry. Look at me, I am old, but I'm happy. Yeah, I was once like you are now. And I know it's not easy to be calm when you found something's going on. Take your time, think a lot. Why think of everything you've got? For you'll still be here tomorrow, but your dreams may not.
How can I try to explain? When I do, he turns away again. It's always been the same old story. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go.
It's not time to make a change. Just sit down, take it slowly. You're still young, that's your fault. There's so much you have to go through. Find a girl, settle down. If you want, you can marry. Look at me, I am old, but I'm happy.
All the times that I have cried, keeping all the things I knew inside. It's hard, but it's harder to ignore it. If they were right, I'd agree, but it's them they know, not me. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go.
How can I try to explain? When I do, he turns away again. It's always been the same old story. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go.
The passage this morning is from Matthew 13, and it says Jesus was down on the beach. And the crowds are so big, he goes out on a boat to use as his pulpit, and he tells stories. And here's one he tells. The kingdom is like a mustard seed that someone took and planted in the field. The smallest of seeds, but when it's grown, it's the largest of all the vegetable plants. It becomes a tree so that the birds in the sky come and nest in its branches.
How wonderful it is that we sort of have homegrown talent like Nick and Allie. Allie lives just up the street. She's a graduate of Lake Forest High School and lives in town, and you just are brighten our days in big ways, so thank you so much. The past couple of weeks I've been chewing on this concept of living an as-if life, which was shared with me by a friend, Toby Jones, who many of you know. And living is an as-if life is when we live as if something were true, but it's not necessarily true. So people, sometimes a couple lives together as if they were married, but they're not. Some live lifestyles in big homes, extravagant lifestyles, as if they could afford it, but they can't really. I order books from the Lake Forest bookstore as if I'm going to find the time to actually read them. Living an as-if life begins early on for most of us. If you were here a year ago this last month, you might remember a story. Can you hold that for a second? A story I told about a little guy. It was back when we were starting to get captured with Cubs fever, right? So many of us, we knew it was going to be the year it actually turned out to be. And I told the story of a little boy who lived and dreamed as if he were a major leaguer. And so he's out in his backyard. Think of one of these little guys with a hat on, a little bit crooked. And he's got a bat and he's got a ball. And he's thinking he's a star. And so he says out loud to no one in particular, "I'm the greatest hitter ever." And he throws the ball up in the air and he swings, misses it. "Strike one," he says. He picks the ball up, takes a deep breath. He's going to hit this one for sure. He says, "I'm the greatest hitter ever." He throws the ball up in the air. He's got his eye on it. He swings. He misses again. "Strike two," he says. Tries to regain his composure, this little guy. He takes the bat and pretends like he has cleats. He knocks the dirt off the cleats, the mud off the cleats. Spits into his hands to get a good grip. He says, "I'm the greatest hitter ever." He picks up the ball. He focuses on it. He throws it up in the air. He swings and misses. "Strike three." "I'm the greatest pitcher ever," he says. I love that little guy's attitude, right? Focusing on what's right in his life, not those places where he's missing or striking out. But there's something else that's wonderful about that story, and it's this. He's living an as-if life. He's living as if he were a major leaguer and the greatest player ever. And when we live an as-if life, we say yes to our dreams. Living an as-if life, though, doesn't always make perfect sense. Has anyone ever had a Mormon missionary come knocking on your front door? Probably a few. You see him walking around town, or in pairs, usually a dark pair of slacks, a white shirt. Forgive my judgment, but usually a below-average tie, and a badge that says Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and their name tag, closely cropped hair. Mormon missionaries live as if lives. They live as if when they knock on that door, that there's a reasonable likelihood that someone's going to convert to Mormonism. Guess what? It almost never happens. In fact, when I lived in Utah, I had the chance to get to know a number of missionaries before they went on their mission, after their mission, and some who quit their missions midstream. I don't know if it's true nowadays, but the statistics back then, if you go on a 2-year mission, which is normative, and you have to pay for that mission yourself, go on a 2-year mission, you on average convert between 2 and 3 people per year. You business people here. That's some serious cold calling, right? That's the coldest of cold calling. Can you imagine knocking on a couple thousand doors per year, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, in some foreign land or who knows where, and you only convert 2 or 3 people? It's kind of crazy, the as-if life they lead. But you know what? The as-if life they lead isn't really about converting other people. It's about converting them. About taking young and now young men and women in some cases. And it's not about who they can get to join the church. It's about taking them from being in their late teens and early 20s and converting them from being lay people to being devoted elders and leaders in the church. Living an as-if life heightens our commitment to a cause. Finally, living an as-if life is when we say yes to our dreams. Not only is as-if life about saying yes to dreams and commitment to a cause, but it's also about envisioning life as we hope for it. So some of you, I know this afternoon, despite it being a spectacular day, will be in front of the television set watching the U.S. Open. Okay, just over the other side of the cheddar curtain in Wisconsin. And one of the people that you'll see is Ricky Fowler. So he's in one of the last couple of groups. And Ricky Fowler is kind of the king these days of people who envision what they'd like to have happen. Envisioning as if. So here's what Ricky does. Watch him. If you watch on TV, that's the direction he hopes to hit the ball. The ball's right here. He'll stand in the direction and he'll close his eyes. And this is before pretty much every shot. He will envision exactly what he wants to happen. It begins with his stance and he addresses the ball. And then his backswing and his follow through. He makes contact with the ball. The ball flight begins. It goes exactly where he wants it to. He continues to follow through. His body turns. The ball lands, and then it rolls exactly as he wants to have that shot occur. Doesn't happen for me that way ever. But Ricky Fowler, he envisions it perfectly. And that envisioning, hitting the ball in his mind as if he's really hitting it, he would argue, is key to some of his success. Living an as-if life is part about daring to have a dream or say yes to a dream. It's part about doing what sometimes might seem a little crazy, but it's also daring to envision the life that you and I want, we hope for, we yearn for. Now, living an as-if life as people of faith, it really means one thing. It means living as if God's kingdom had already come. Now, here's the truth. Watch the news, see the newspapers, whatever. God's kingdom hasn't come to this earth in so many ways. 2,000 years ago, it was the exact same thing. The Romans had everyone on edge. Resources weren't shared. There was corruption. There was crime. Taxes were ridiculous. All sounds kind of familiar to 2,000 years later. But what Jesus called those people to do, and all of us to do, is to live lives as if God's kingdom had come. As if it were right here, right now. And you know what? That's one of Jesus' unbelievably revolutionary strategies that worked. Maybe you've heard of the philosopher and theologian Simone Weil. She lived in France during World War II. She experienced Nazi atrocities firsthand. She lost family members. Weil's conclusion after a lifetime of study and faith is that the people of God are called to live in all circumstances, no matter what, as if God's kingdom has come. And so when the kingdom of God comes, there's no more hunger, right? As if living means that we devote ourselves to making certain that all people have food and proper nourishment. If the kingdom of God comes, that means there's no more persecution or discrimination, right? As if living is dedicated to making certain that no one experiences discrimination or persecution or injustice. If God's kingdom has come, that means that you and I are doing a great job of loving each other, no matter what we look like, the size of our bank account, if we have no bank account, what religion we're part of, or if we're part of nothing. As if living is living as if God's kingdom has indeed come. And so here's the question for today. Is, are you up for it? Are you up for it? Can you grab hold of a dream? Can you do something that sometimes seems a little crazy? Can you claim a vision of life as you'd like it to be? Isn't that what we did a moment ago when Zach prayed? When joys and concerns? Sometimes prayer is a little dreamy. Lots of times it feels like it doesn't make sense, but we're still daring to claim a vision of life as we would hope it and want it to be. Final thought. If you need inspiration for the journey of daring to live an as-if life, all you have to do is look around. Folks from our church, Mary Jo Stevenson, Wendy Beaver, others, heading up to Beacon Place on the south side of Waukegan every single week, helping young kids learn to read and know how to play together. They're living as if God's kingdom had come. Perry and Cliff from our church, driving to Waukegan to the Park City to the Illinois Food Bank, getting a truck full of food, distributing it in Waukegan to those people who are in need of a meal. That's living as if the kingdom had come. 10 or so people gathered on a conference call this past week. 11 years we've been doing Kids Uganda. Raised over $1.5 million so kids could get an education who otherwise wouldn't. Girls have a safe place to live. Kids have food. Do you know how hard it is doing business on the other side of the world? It's a crazy idea. But people in Kids Uganda, as nuts as it is, are daring to live as if the kingdom had come. Even the work trip this past week. 34, 35 high school students and adults make the trip to Wisconsin, spend a week on a Habitat for Humanity project. That's living as if the kingdom had come. And finally, net gain. Some ways it just seems like a basketball game, but here's the deal. The idea only came up about 2.5 months ago. That maybe the young men from Orr High School, which is arguably one of Chicago's worst communities, filled with violence. In the 5 months of winter, within 2 miles of Orr High School, there were 82 shootings. And yet these young men in large measure because of an extraordinary coach who is the father on this Father's Day for so many of them. And he loves them and cares for them. They went on to win the state championship. And so Rick Tellender and Fred Cook came up with this idea, boy, we need to support that. We need to encourage these people who have so few resources. Now, just 2.5 months later, because the folks at the high school said yes, because so many of you have volunteered both dollars and resources and time and everything else. This coming Saturday, there's going to be 20 young men from one of the 2 most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago coming up, and we're going to have a lunch at the beach with the 2 teams. Then we're going to have 2 basketball games. And there's going to be a big barbecue for everybody who's involved. And for a wonderful change of pace, we're not going to be thinking about each other based on labels. We're going to get to know each other as human beings, all because we share this common ground called basketball. That's living as if the kingdom had come.
Guess I'll show my hand, either way I'm losing. Used to have the goods back when I couldn't use them. Standing by the ocean, like I'm frozen here in time. So don't let go, don't change your mind. If the stars fall into the ocean side, someone pull the ribbons from my eyes. Free my soul, let it roll away on that invisible riverside. Sunset Boulevard. So don't let go, don't change your mind. If the stars fall into the ocean side, someone pull the ribbons from my eyes. Free my soul, let it roll away on that invisible riverside. Let it roll, let it roll. Yeah, I wanna lay my head forever on your shoulder. Stay with me, my love, now until we're older. Standing by the ocean, we got nothing now but time. So don't let go, don't change your mind. If the stars fall in tears from my eyes, free my soul, let it roll away on that invisible riverside. Let it roll away on that invisible riverside.
Maybe one more reason to live an as-if life. Words which come from the former ambassador, Melaine Verveer. She offered, and I quote, "Potential is universal. Opportunity is not." Living an as-if life helps us change that. Friends, dare to live an as-if life, and go in peace. And the people said, Amen.